Hey, what's up? This is Food and Philosophy episode number 45, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. But first, Ike's. Remember, I joke often that I should only do Ike's, and I probably should because it's pretty freaking delicious and I'm almost never disappointed. Today, I got number 8, Steve Young. It's a regular meatball sandwich, but it comes with bacon. I got veggie bacon on mine. Maybe I should have got it without bacon. But then I was like, if I got it without bacon, it just wouldn't be a Steve Young. And I know it's not a Steve Young because it has veggie bacon on it, but I'm trying to make it a little bit different. Those meatballs marinara, I got it extra dirty. I got it on wheat bread. I was feeling a little, I don't know, wheaty. And then how I normally get my meatball sandwiches is extra dirty, double toasted bread, and pickles and onions. Pickles go great on a meatball sandwich. In fact, it should be worldwide. Pickles should come on a meatball sandwich. And then I got extra onions. What's up, guys? Meatball fell out right as I opened it up, so I just ate the meatball. That's why there's a little hole there. All right, let's go. They cut it a little too biased cut, so I'm gonna take a bite from down here. Hi, Nikki. I love our meatball sandwiches. I'm from nothing. What's up? I'm streaming on YouTube. I don't know if I can say your name, my friend. Not trying to get canceled. I'm already lifetime banned from PayPal, lifetime banned from TikTok Live. So I'm not trying to get banned from YouTube. Even this wheat bread, extra dirty, double toasted. So good. So quick Steve Young story. He comes into the Palo Alto location. He sees the Steve Young sandwich. He's like, "Can I design another sandwich, like a Super Bowl MVP sandwich or something like that?" So, Steve, it's been a long time since you came in and you said that. Call me. Let's do that Super Bowl MVP, 6 TDs, whatever you want to call it. Sandwich time. One more bite. I mean, I'm really hungry. I might take way more than one bite. Hey, Karen, future superhero, Mikano. I can't talk about. Can't talk about. Somebody keeps reporting me, saying I was something that if I say I'm gonna get banned. They kept saying I was trying to sell something that I wasn't trying to sell, just because of my hashtag in my bio. So go read my bio. There's a hashtag there. And somebody said I was doing some kind of things for money. Zach is my guy. Next time I'm asking for extra pickles, this crunchiness. What's up, blind guy? Or hey, blind guy. This is my first meal of the day, guys. Sorry I'm crushing this. I should get to philosophy. You guys missed on my last live? This dude went off as soon as I was talking about how the world will start coming against you, and like right on target. Like 2 people, like you suck. I this and this and that. I just did the donut pop up yesterday in Phoenix. I can't announce where the next pop up's going to be because it's a surprise. What's up, Prem? But if you wanted donuts, you should have saw me last night in Phoenix. You can go to Chico right now, California, and get them. That's right now the only place to get them. Yeah, Nico killed that pop up. Oh, that was a great So You Want to Get Fat podcast. I was there in Phoenix. Anyway, I'm just chatting with the chat. Philosophy, but first, X Talk. All right. So I'm pretty, I don't know. I'm going to have to probably, I don't keep saying this, probably going to have to stop looking at X because it's just a whole bunch of polarization. Obviously, it's political season, so that makes it even bigger. Thank you so much. That Jowl loves rice. Hit me up next time you see me. Shoot me a DM. And they were talking about, oh, it was because, who was it? Oh, obviously. Uh, when I say it, you know who it is. They were talking about a taxing unrealized gains and also about an inheritance tax because billionaires don't pay enough, and the quick billionaires don't pay enough thing is if you stole every single dollar from every single American billionaire and gave it to the government, they'd end up spending it in like 4 months or something. Just do the math, Google it. It might be a little bit more than 4 months, it might be a little bit less than 4 months, but it's not a taxation issue. It's not that we're not taxing billionaires enough. But so then they got into the discourse about an inheritance tax or an estate tax. And people were going off like, "Oh, what sucks is that." 'Cause I think the tweet that set it off, X that set it off was that it's it's people that are receiving the inheritance inherently didn't earn it, but they get a head start, I guess, on other people because they have this inheritance, and that's not fair. That was the gist of the first tweet that I saw. And then someone else commented um, that they didn't make any decisions, and so why should they be able to get this money? And then somebody said it's not random that so and so ended up with so and so parents, and that those parents ended up giving money while someone else might not have. And then somebody else said, and I'm paraphrasing, it's not bad luck to be born to poor parents. It's your parents' poor choices that have resulted in you being born to poor parents. It's not a random event. It's not someone rolling the dice. It's people making choices. And somebody else said, these are not your decisions. This is just deliberately misunderstanding of the word random in the context. So the plight was first about the money, but then about how is it random or is it not random that obviously parents that are well off give their kids stuff, and parents that aren't well off give their parents less stuff. If they don't have anything at all, then you don't get anything. And how that's a reason, the justification for an inheritance tax or for estate tax. Now, first, I'm going to throw out from what's up, Bella. First, I'm going to throw out on a metaphysical level, we did choose our parents. And there is something that you or I did to end up where we're at. Now, say you're like, I don't want to believe in metaphysical stuff and I don't want to believe in quantum this or that. Say you want to, fine, we can throw that out. But I'm going to take the position that we did choose it. But say even if you took that position out, you didn't choose it. It was totally random, totally like rolling the dice and you you jump in this body and let's jump in that body. And remember when we were talking about when we were doing the prophet, and he said a little wait, a little while, an extra time upon the wind, and then another woman would have borne him. So similar to that. But anyways, say you don't want to care or believe about the metaphysical aspects. What's the reason strictly in the context of the taxing people on their inheritance or their estate because they didn't deserve it? And that's the reason to tax them. So what's the reason that the fact that your kids or whoever's getting the stuff, that we're assuming that they did nothing to help accumulate that wealth. We're assuming that they did nothing, and because they did nothing, they shouldn't get anything. and that they didn't do anything, then their quote inheritance should then be given to someone else who for sure didn't do anything. So the kid, the descendants, maybe they did something, maybe they didn't. We don't know. We're assuming that they did. But for sure, whoever the money is being taken out to go help, assuredly, there's not even a way somebody can debate that person, that the money will be redistributed to through government programs or any other way, or spending it on military. Assuredly, those people didn't even deserve the money. Even they didn't do anything. They did less to earn the money outside of just being disadvantaged people or a part of a program. So this definitely presupposes that not only did the child, the descendants, not help with accumulating that wealth or keeping that wealth or anything, not only were we presupposing that didn't happen as a 0%, like 0% of the people that have ever been given money have not even helped get the money, but we're assuming that they've never done anything for their parents ever in the history of their life. They've not contributed to one single iota in anything. Now that's unbelievable. Like literally, it's not believable. There's no way that none of the people that have ever received an inheritance ever have done zero. Like you're saying every single person that's ever received an inheritance has done nothing? No. You're an idiot if you think that, and you're an idiot if you think, and if you defend that, you're an idiot. And I don't say that stuff often. You're ignorant to how the universe works, just not even on a metaphysical level, but on a literal level. Hang out with people. You literally did nothing ever. And then the last part about this is they're saying, looking at the handout given to handout in quotes given to the descendants of the children or someone else, they're saying that's a handout from their parents to presumably people that they love or care about enough to leave them something. So it's a handout for them to receive that, yet it's not a handout when that money gets redistributed to something else, to another program, and then those people get the money. I'm not saying that those things are handouts. This is what the tweets are. And why is it okay that the government will redistribute the money and hand that out, but these kids are not able to get a handout? It actually doesn't make sense on even an argumentative level. It's okay for other people to get a handout off of somebody else's money, but it's not okay for this kid to get a handout if that's your position from their own parents. Just think before you tweet. Think before you speak. That's my X talk. Let's get back to the war of art after I take a bite. Hey, blind guy, you can have your girlfriend listen to this later on YouTube. Resistance and procrastination. Procrastination is the most common manifestation of resistance because it's the easiest to rationalize. We don't tell ourselves, I'm never going to write my symphony. Instead, we say, I'm going to write my symphony. I'm just going to start tomorrow. So what are the things that you seem to always be putting on till tomorrow? You start your diet tomorrow, you start whatever tomorrow. What are those things that you continuously do and you're leaving off to tomorrow? Are those things that you actually want or not? Or can you just be like, you know what? I actually don't want to do that. I'm just saying that I want to do it based on the results. That's what's happening if you're not actually doing it. So what about just knocking it off of your to-do list at all and relieving yourself of the duty of wanting and thinking to do it? Most people don't want to be that honest with themselves. Resistance and procrastination, part 2. The most pernicious aspect of procrastination is that it can become a habit. We don't just put off our lives today, we put them off until our deathbed. Never forget, this very moment we can change our lives. There was never a moment and never will be when we are without the power to alter our destiny. This second, we can turn our tables on resistance. This second, we can sit down and do our work. What is so great to you about procrastination? Compare the benefits you get with procrastinating to the benefits you would get not only from achieving your goal with your work, the benefits you'd get with your work, but also from actually doing the work. So the benefits you get from achieving your goal from your work, but from actually also the journey of doing the work. Miss you, Kyle, as well. Resistance. Ooh, resistance in sex. Lost the stream real quick. Resistance in sex. From sometimes resistance takes the form of sex or an obsessive preoccupation with sex. Why sex? Because actually, I don't even know if I can say that word on YouTube. Make sure you beep up all the sex. That's probably why I'm banned from all these other sites. Because sex provides immediate and powerful gratification. When someone sleeps with us, we feel validated and approved of, even loved. Resistance gets a big kick out of that. It knows it has distracted us with a cheap, easy fix and kept us from doing our work. Of course, not all sex is a manifestation of resistance. In my experience, you can tell by the measure of hollowness you feel afterwards. The more empty you feel, the more certain you can be that your true motivation was not love or even lust, but it was resistance. It goes without saying that this principle applies to drugs, shopping, TV, gossip, alcohol, any consumption of sex, the consumption of all products containing fat, sugar, salt, or chocolate. Good thing I don't eat chocolate, guys. From those that you're sexually interested in, what things do you actually get satisfied from them? Of these things, which of these go with your highest of values? What other lower minded distractions, food, safety, pleasure, feed you the most? We've got the living of in our lower values, which is the Maslow ones: food, eating, same thing, food, sex, and water, and shelter, and safety. And when we stay down there, we tend to mostly live in our unfulfilled values versus living in our actual values. Resistance and trouble. Resistance and trouble. We get ourselves in trouble because it's a cheap way to get attention. Trouble is a faux form of fame. It's easier to get busted in the bedroom with the faculty chairman's wife than it is to finish the dissertation on the metaphysics of Motley and the novellas of Joseph Conrad. Ill health is a form of trouble, as are alcoholism, drug addiction, proneness to accidents, all neuroses, including compulsive screwing up, and such seemingly benign foibles as jealousy, chronic lateness, and the blasting of rap music at 110 decibels from your smoked glass 95 Supra. I think I've pretty much done that before. Anything that draws attention to ourselves through pain-free or artificial means is a manifestation of resistance. Cruelty to others is a form of resistance, as is the willing endurance of cruelty from others. The working artist will not tolerate trouble in her life because she knows trouble prevents her from doing her work. The working artist banishes from her world all sources of trouble. She harnesses the urge for trouble and transforms it in her work. What's up, coach? So look at your life. In which ways do you cling to unearned attention? I mean, it's social media these days. We most everybody is down for that. Some of it less earned than others, some of it more earned than others. List the common ones that you usually cling to, where it's unearned, as well as the really huge ones. Even if these really huge ones were just one-offs and you don't always do them. I mean, we're talking about unearned attention. Going back to the X talk, there's tons in the political climate of unearned uses of resources and using that as an attention grabbing thing. Usually from the victim standpoint, hey, look at me, I'm a victim. So now they have some unearned attention because for the most part, almost nobody is a victim. I'm not saying nobody, almost nobody. And because of that, they get attention that they normally wouldn't get, say if they weren't a victim. So look at your life and the quadrants of your life. Which areas do you seek outside attention? Is it in the procreation game or the dating game or the financial or the business or the spiritual or anywhere else? What is it that you are in resistance to in these areas where you're looking for unearned attention or even seeking attention in general? Where and what about usually do you allow yourself to be treated cruelly? Where do you allow it? Where are you the cruelest to others? In which area? Oh, I was so upset at work the other day. And because I didn't want to, I don't know what the word is. I didn't want to I don't want to yell. Not that I probably would have yelled. I didn't want to say anything, so I left. And a lot of it was like, well, there's not going to be anything positive, even though I'm right, in quotes, would have been come from me saying anything. Just never works ever. Even when you're right, I think this is where most of the society gets messed up. Is it doesn't matter if you're right or you're wrong. Most of the time, everybody thinks that they're right. So it really doesn't matter if you're right. It's not going to be productive. So don't do it anyway. You don't need to tell anybody that you're right, even if you're right. You don't need to tell somebody that they're wrong, even if they're wrong. Like literally, unless they're about to unalive somebody or ruin somebody, like actually, there's nothing for you to do or say. Resistance and self-dramatization. Creating soap opera in our lives is a symptom of resistance. Why put in years of work designing a new software interface when you can just get as much attention by bringing home a boyfriend with a prison record? Sometimes entire families participate unconsciously in a culture of self-dramatization. The kids fuel the tanks, the grown-ups arm the phasers, the whole starship lurches from one spine-tingling episode to another, and the crew knows how to keep it going. If the level of drama drops below a certain threshold, someone jumps in to amp it up. Dad gets drunk, mom gets sick, Janie shows up to church with an Oakland Raiders tattoo. It's more fun than a movie, and it works. Nobody gets a damn thing done. Sometimes I think of resistance as a sort of evil twin to Santa Claus, who makes his rounds house to house, making sure that everything's taken care of. When he comes to a house that's hooked on self-dramatization, his ruddy cheeks glow and he giddy ups, and behind his 8 tiny reindeer, he knows there will be no work done in that house. Hey, what's up, Alex? What's up, Rory? What's the drama? What's the drama that normally shows up in your life? Think about it right now. Um, like I know exactly what showed up in my life, in my mind just now. So what's the drama that shows up in your life routinely? continuously happen. Could be at work, could be at home, could be in your dating life, it could be in your physical life. What's the drama? Who are the usual players? Is it the same exact cast? Is it the same exact characters? They just are played by different people all the time? What's the stuff that gets acted out in your life over and over and over again? The stuff that you don't like. Obviously, if you like it, keep doing that. What's the stuff that you don't like that gets acted out over and over and over again in your life? Work, play, with dating, with your body, with your spiritual life, wherever. What are you getting out of this drama? Deep down, what are you getting out of it? You get excuses to not do things? Do you get more relaxation? There's lots of actual benefits if you pay attention to the drama in your life. This is why you have it. But also due to the suffering obligation of love. The way that we show and give to others, show love, pretend that we should love them unconsciously and consciously, is there because we truly love these people. Here he's talking about families recruit each other to amp up the drama. There's not enough drama, and then they like come down. We only get caught up in this kind of stuff because we truly love them. Do not let this love, this suffering obligation of love that humans do in an unworkable way to say I love you to each other, especially their family members, but to society too, do not let this allow for you to settle or for you to allow them to settle for less than oneness with what each of us want consciously. Look at what you want consciously, see where there's a disconnect between your results and what you want consciously, and then allow for yourself not to settle for less than that. How do you know you're settling? Is if you're not doing anything to move in that direction. Heck, you might not even want it. It's because maybe even your goals and your wants could be suffering obligations of love. You could be doing it to make your parents proud or someone else, or to show someone else up. So bring forth from you the unconscious actions. Bring them up so you can see them in 3D, that what you really do want, and not only that, but you can see in 3D what you really do want can be had. Carl Jung says, until you make the unconscious conscious, things keep repeating, and you're like, oh, it always happens to me, and it appears to be fate or that we're stuck in a thing. It's just because you haven't made the unconscious things conscious. Once you make them conscious, you can start questioning them and seeing where your deficiencies are. And we'll end there. So even if you are falling into suffering obligation of love and you're doing things unworkably to say, I love you to your family, or I love you to society, or I love you to your religious or your social group, even if you're doing that, see what the benefits for you are. What are you afraid of not belonging for? For each of us, it's going to be different. Maybe you might think you're going to die. Maybe you think you're going to be alone. Maybe you think you're not going to be able to be by yourself. I already brought up of how nobody's allowed, literally nobody's allowed on this planet to be themselves and not be ostracized, because we conflict with the official narrative, whether it's the narrative of society, the narrative of your family, the narrative of your spouse, the narrative of your religion. And so to be yourself is to be separate. And we're afraid of that as humans. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be afraid of it, but what would you rather like? You can have it and still be afraid of it. And that's why when you get what you want, hell yeah. And when you don't get what you want, even better. Your well-being is your greatest contribution to humanity. None of this suffering obligation of love bullcrap. No exceptions ever. Don't mind me. I'm just eating a meatball sandwich. Love you guys.